My name is Joe Manente. I'm the owner and operator of the Fourth Wall Comedy Cafe and Studios.
People that don't know me really well, they think that I take a lot of drugs. Buckle up for the fucking worst open mic of your fucking life.
Because excuses are for losers, guys. I am not a loser. I am a failure, okay?
I can already tell this is just gonna be garbage. I can just tell. I can just tell.
I moved to Los Angeles in 2004, July of 2004. I was in a rock band, and that was my main drive, was to play music. I tried really hard for about 10 years with that. And comedy, I kind of did intermittently with the music.
Three things you love the most: your subpar singing, jokes, and undying self-belief in order to create the perfect formula for broken dreams.
Had a lot of fun, did tours. We played a lot of cool shows all over LA and Southern California, but it just wasn't in the cards. We were a little late to the game, I think, to make it work. And then after that, it was kind of cool. I just said, all right, I'm just going to do comedy now and forget about it, And the bitterness and the pain of failing at that has really fueled my comic point of view. If it wasn't for needing to support all these dreams, you know what I mean? You need to have some way of making money. So it was first a moving company. That was my first business. I needed places to park my trucks, and the studio out in North Hollywood that I have had parking for trucks. So I went there and I put the trucks in there, and I ran it as a moving company, and I subleased what is the Fourth Wall studio to a farmer's insurance brokerage for like 6 years. And then I just got sick of doing a list. I don't know. I just wasn't really charging enough money. So I got him out of there, and I thought, well, what would I want to do with this space if I could do anything? And I kind of modeled my mic. I decided I'm going to do a mic called The Fourth Wall, and it all just came to me as I was sitting in there one day. The name, everything. I even got a fortune cookie from Panda Express. This is a fucking fortune cookie. This is what it said. This is like so oddly specific. It said, build the stage, the audience is waiting. And it was like kind of prophetic, because I did end up building a stage in that space at that time, and people did come. It was like crazy.
Right, you have a personality disorder?
Yes.
Anxiety?
Yep.
Depression?
Yes.
Welcome to Fourth Wall. You're gonna fit in great. You're up number 7.
You guys look fucking hard as hell. Look at these men. Looking good, guys. Looking good. All right.
Is this video?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a brocast today, you guys.
Brocast.
It's just me and Joseph Manente here.
That's right. Just us two. Nobody wants to hang out with us.
Yeah, we don't really have any friends. We're just here a lot.
I'm Travis Clyburn. I'm a stand-up comedian here in Los Angeles. I'm originally from Dayton, Ohio, a small town outside of Dayton, Ohio, and I originally moved to LA to pursue stand-up comedy. I met Joe Manente in 2013. I had a buddy named Jared Robbins. Jared Robbins is an actor. He's from Dayton, Ohio, just like me. He happened to move back from LA and work for my dad as a security guard. And then, I'd always wanted to move to LA, but then I finally met someone who had lived there, which would be Jared. And Jared just so happened to have met Joe, and Joe just so happened to have started a moving company.
I met Travis Clyburn in 2013 because my friend Jared, who was working for me as a mover, was like, I got a friend and he needs a place to stay. He's a comedian. You guys should meet. I'm like, I need a roommate right now. And he moved in and he lived with me for the first month that he was there. I decided I'm going to sell the moving company and get it out of my life and continue to build this little side business. I was also trying to rent trucks. That's why the sign still says Fourth Wall Production Supply and Truck Rental. And if I could have bet on which aspect of the business was going to survive, the open mic or the truck rental, I'd have put money on the truck rental for sure. And of course, that failed immediately. And then the open mic thing kept going,
I moved to LA for the second time with a girl I met in Virginia. And then we broke up, and then I just didn't have a place to live. I was just I knew Manente from being a mover once upon a time. And he was like, do you just want to live here and host mics? And I was like, yeah, let's go. So, yeah.
I needed assistance. I needed nights off, and I just started putting Travis in there, and Travis is a great host. He really makes everyone feel welcome. He's invested in everybody. He laughs.
All right, let's get. Can we get a vote on?
I mean, he bailed me out of a terrible situation, really, and also This is all I've ever wanted to do. And even though it was a weird way to do it, doing it at Fourth Wall was doing it full time and making a living at it. I mean, not enough of a living to afford an apartment, but a living, you know? So I lived in a van that he owned for a while outside of Fourth Wall. And then it got too hot and I just moved into Fourth Wall. And then I just did that until I finally got a place of my own. You can't tell how dirty it is when all the lights are off, but as soon as those lights go on, man, oh man. Make no mistake, I didn't smell great, okay? So I'm glad I was in the back of Fourth Wall. You know, sitting in the back where the house sits and like running back and forth. I'm like, I hope no one smells me. But yeah, you take showers at the gym and then you eat a lot of 7-Eleven food, which is why I'm fat.
What's the best thing about doing comedy in LA?
Oh, the best thing about doing comedy in LA is definitely just the amount of opportunities you get. How often you can do it. Like, I mean, I host mics at 11 a.m. sometimes. Like, there's just ample opportunity. And if you start somewhere in the Midwest, or if you start, you know, in the South, or anywhere else really other than maybe New York or Chicago, your opportunity for stage time is really limited. Like, I think my first 5 years doing stand-up in Ohio, I could only do like an open mic a week, if that, and that's if you're lucky. And if you travel and you have the luxury to travel, then you can do, I don't know, 2 whole shows, 2 whole open mics a week. And now like you can do, hell, the most I ever did in a day was 11. So there's just ample opportunity out here. So I think, also it's, just take it more seriously out here, in my opinion. There's actually a culture around it as opposed to just some weird thing weird people do at a bar, other places.
My name is Jake Kroeger, and I am a lot of things, but my life is comedy. I created this thing called the Comedy Bureau in 2010, which is a comedy institution, news source, curation hub. It's a lot of things for comedy in LA and now New York. The number of open mics in LA, it's kind of tricky to count them because there are open mics, like there have been for decades, that are like once a week at a place, same appointed time, same host. There are open mics that operate like a small business. So they run for anywhere from 4 to 8 hours a day, and they go every hour on the hour. All those open mics are predicated on this sort of idea that you as an up-and-coming comedian, is it worth $5 of your dollars for 5 minutes of stage time that you'll only have to wait an hour for, and you know exactly when you're gonna go up? Is it worth it? And for a lot of them, it is. Because the alternative sometimes is that you'll go to an open mic that's free, it's 3 minutes, but it's a lottery and they pull the names as the open mic goes on instead of pulling all the names at the top of the open mic. And you might wait 2-3 hours and not even go up, and you're just really angry.
I started doing the hourly miking system in 2018, January 1, and it was very calculated to be that way. People call it the slotted system. It's the Fourth Wall system. It's a culture, and I mean, I wasn't the first person to use a slotted page. In fact, it's an hourly miking system is what it is, you know what I mean? And the aspect of culture that it is it's about accountability and professionalism. Real simple, right? Be on time, stay for the whole mic, run time 50 minutes. Very easy, you know what I mean? But yeah, that didn't come out of nowhere. It took me about 1.5 years of observation to kind of figure out, like, what do they have the patience for? It seems obvious now, like, but it wasn't at the time, you know, because we've been doing open mics completely inefficiently and fucked up for decades. You know, it's like, well, why hadn't we been doing this, you know, forever? I remember some of the people that came the first week. Ian Russo was definitely one of those people. It wasn't structured like it is now. It was just a first come, first serve mic, you know, that's what it was.
The type of people that came through Fourth Wall changed over time, and it also changed depending on what time it was. So your 4 to 6 o'clockers, your people who knocked it out early, were always like, it seemed like people who just started, pretty supportive, nice people. Then around 7 and 8, it got a little, a little weirder. But then the 9 and the 10, Fourth Wall North Hollywood, will always go down as some of the weirdest, craziest people to ever do stand-up.
I've had to throw chairs at people, you know what I mean? I've lost my temper. It's been documented. There's a film out called Micers, which I star in, that kind of shows some dramatic reenactments of those incidents. So
really, the people who came through Fourth Wall, it depended on the hour. Because I saw all types of humans. But man, the later it got, the weirder it got, that's for sure.
I would go earlier in the day, and yeah, it's great. Everybody loves what you're doing. Now, if I want to make sure some of the stuff really works, I'll go to a 10 o'clock North Hollywood Fourth Wall and really be in the room, and it's just silence. But I love that silent room, because if you can make 4 or 5 unhappy people at 10 o'clock at night on a Monday laugh, then that's gold. Put that thing in the book. But at the end of the day, I try to explain to people, open mics aren't for gratification. They're for repetition.
I found Fourth Wall, gosh, it was so long ago now, maybe 5 years ago. I knew they were doing stand-up comedy, and I had been out of it for a while because I had my child, and I took like 10 years off and didn't do any comedy. And then when I saw Fourth Wall was doing this slotted idea where you are guaranteed to get up, that really worked for my schedule because, like I said, I have a child. I can't just get a babysitter, go hang out at the Improv, and maybe get up. It's not good enough. Like, I need to know I have time. So the idea of slotted, where you pay $5, but you know you're doing 5 minutes, that appealed to me.
All of the places that I've done slotted, I've been happy with it because I've had my spot, I've had a guaranteed spot. And then I could also see who else is on the list. So if it's someone who I really can't stand, okay, maybe not go. Or if it's someone who I really like, it's like, oh my God, this person's doing the mic. I'm gonna go and see them and hang out. So it works for me.
Oh, it's good because you don't have to waste 3 hours at a place and maybe not go up. You definitely go up, there's 10 people. So that's good. The fact that they make money from comics is a little, wakes up the revolutionary in me, you know, because it's like, already we don't get paid and it's like, they try to take more from you. So I'm ideologically against it, but it did make things easier.
The people that criticize Fourth Wall don't come to it. You know, I think the people that are willing to pay the money see the value in it. So I don't have a problem with any of the criticisms. The rules that I've set in place kind of frame it in a supportive way. Be on time, be accountable for yourself, but you're also be accountable for the other 8 people that signed up. Be on time. You're not just doing that for you, you're doing that for them, and they're doing it for you. Anyone could say, well, I was being supportive. Well, really, you were 5 fucking minutes late. That's not that supportive. You were on your phone. Those are actions. That means more, you know? So I guess if you want to take support and dissect it into actually doing something, yeah, I guess I'm forcing you to be supportive in that I'm forcing you to be on time and forcing you to stay and watch everybody.
With something that as consistent as like Fourth Wall, Hollywood comedy, people are like, oh yeah, I can just go there 7 days a week and like sign up, and that, so they know that. The flip side, I think my criticism is sort of like a lot of people who get into comedy have this idea like becoming mastered at something after 10,000 hours of doing it. And that makes them focus on the quantity of going up rather than like, well, what you're supposed to do with those 10,000 hours is really like just work and fail and figure it out, and not just like go through the motions for like 10,000 hours. So I've seen people like go up for years that have barely gotten anything out of like I know that they know how to take the mic out of the mic stand and then like move the mic stand to the side. And that's about it. That's about it. And yeah, I think sometimes with the sort of accessibility that a Fourth Wall would give, where they're like, oh, I just like hit this fourth wall and that fourth wall, and then that means like I got like 3 or 4 spots in the night, you know, in addition to those other mics that I did. And I'm like, well, did you really grow from any of that? Or are you just like trying to mark that you did these? And you know, that really depends on the comedian.
I did too much comedy this year. I'm about to hit 1,000 sets for the year, and don't do 1,000 sets of comedy in a year because it's not going to make you better. It's just not.